Now at 10, a massive explosion in Lebanon, killing dozens at last count and injuring thousands.
Plus, a judge in East Idaho ruling to move forward in the alleged murder of Idaho siblings J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan. Details from Chad Daybell's court hearing today.
Plus, protests at school districts across the Wasatch Front today, all demanding what they think is the safest option for opening schools.
Live from Utah's first TV station, ABC4 News at 10 starts now.
Good evening and thanks for choosing ABC4 News at 10. I'm Glenn Mills.
And I'm Emily Flores. Today, 7 more Utahns have died from COVID-19, making Utah's death toll 321 people.
378 more people have tested positive, making the rolling 7-day average for positive tests now 428 per day. Tonight, we're taking a look into academics amid the pandemic. Many teachers and parents protesting outside district offices across the state of Utah today. We begin with ABC4's Brittany Johnson. She was at the protest for the Granite School District. She's now live in studio. So, Brittany, what are teachers there asking for?
Well, Glenn, teachers want students to be on alternating school schedules where they go in for physical classroom learning every other day. They say that will help limit the spread of COVID-19. So teachers voiced their concerns outside of tonight's school board meeting. These Granite School District teachers want the school board to rethink reopening when school starts in the fall.
We just love our students, and we know the importance of them coming back face-to-face learning. We just want to do it in a safe way.
Stephanie Gonzalez is among the many teachers who say classrooms are overcrowded. And if they're going back to physical teaching during the COVID-19 pandemic, educators want the school board to implement a schedule where students attend physical classrooms on alternating days, saying half the students is half the risk, meaning having half the students in a classroom at once will help slow the spread of COVID-19.
I understand as a parent that is not the easiest of schedules, because that means shuffling kids, that means shuffling my own kids so I can go to school and I can teach.
We've actually produced some videos that are on our website that show how in some of our smallest classroom spaces you can still fit up to 30 desks and have those students be 6 feet apart and still provide a natural 8 to 10 foot space for the teacher.
Parents will have two options: send their children for in-person learning or online instruction. Ben Horsley says this will reduce overall class sizes and also allow for social distancing.
I get it. Like, there's no right answer to this, and there's no silver bullet, and there's whatever decision's made, there's going to be sacrifices that are inherent in those decisions. But I do feel like there are better ways to balance and mitigate.
Now, parents, if you have questions about what your child's school year will look like during the pandemic, meaning how Granite schools are going to be handling recess, lunchtime, and other activities, go to our website, abc4.com, to be linked up with that information. Emily, back to you.
All right, Brittany, thank you. Well, teachers in Canyon School District also joining in protest today. Many dressed in red T-shirts, as you see here, carrying signs at the district administration building in Sandy. Some signs read, quote, "I want to teach, but I need to be safe for my family and yours." Teachers there saying a mask requirement in schools is not enough. Canyon School District pushing their start date back by 1 week, so classes will start on August 24th. And parents on both sides of Davis School District's decision to reopen took to this evening's board meeting. One side wants to fully reopen. The other is happy with the hybrid solution. ABC4 News' Jason Wynn shows us why teachers there say the district made the best decision for everyone's safety.
Backed along State Street in Farmington from 100 East to Main Street was a group of parents and students who say they want a 5-day school week.
5 days a week. 5 days a week. I would ask that when decisions like that are made on this level, that we have representation and a voice from all. Ultimately, we're here to say we want a voice.
Kelly Pitcher leads the group of protesters. She says the district's decision for the hybrid reopening wasn't transparent.
What I'm concerned about is the decision doesn't reflect a board of doctors, a board of mental health specialists. It doesn't have any students, which is our primary concern here.
District officials say they continuously listen to the community's input and are taking recommendations on COVID-19 from the health department. The biggest one, allowing students to have enough physical distance between each other within classrooms.
So without being able to do that physical distancing, we can't mitigate part of the problem. When going with the hybrid option, that's half the students in the school and in a classroom at any given time, about half the students, and that allows us to at least offer some of that physical distancing.
Teachers say the district is transparent, and they're very thankful.
I am very proud to be a teacher in Davis School District. I feel like they are putting the health and safety of teachers and students first, and I'm proud that they care about us.
Regardless of the side of the aisle you're on, everyone involved says the conversation surrounding COVID-19 in schools will continue for the entire school year. In Farmington, I'm Jason Wynn, ABC4 News.
Because of the coronavirus, more and more parents are choosing to keep their kids home this year, but that decision could come with a cost. Some parents are choosing to stick with their school district and stay home. That means the curriculum will be free, but you may need extra supplies and maybe even new electronic devices. Other parents are choosing an online academy, which may come with tuition costs like any private school. But parents say the opportunity to adapt school to their kid is worth the price.
Libraries, like I don't have a full library at home. In some ways it is a little bit expensive, but partly that's because of my choice to try and customize and build a curriculum for my daughter's needs.
Parents are using services like Scholastic and Teachers Pay Teachers, online curriculum resources that are sometimes free, sometimes pay per item. You can find those links and more homeschool help on our website, abc4.com.
Well, tonight marking the third night of protests in Cottonwood Heights after a violent clash with demonstrators on Sunday. ABC4's Nick McGurk telling us many in the community are calling for accountability and reform.
Tonight we're learning that there's going to be an internal use of force investigation within the Cottonwood Heights City Police Department. But the people on the street tonight and those chiming in at the city council meeting say they want much more. A muggy August night like this would send most people to the nearest air conditioner.
I can't get it out of my head.
But not Anna McNamer, blanketed by the sun on this Tuesday night and consumed, she says, by what happened on these Cottonwood Heights streets 2 days ago.
After the cops beat the crud out of your neighbors, you devote your time.
Sunday, she says, was a peaceful demonstration.
They had like pinwheels and Kool-Aid for kids and fun dancing music.
But video shows the escalation.
All of a sudden there was tons of pepper spray in the air. People were getting their faces bashed in. People were being tased.
I do not feel safe.
Concerns also voiced during a digital-only city council meeting tonight. Some expressing support, but so many others calling for reform and police accountability.
We're just trying to be peaceful. We're just trying to get our name out there, his name out there.
His name, Zane James, shot in 2018 by Cottonwood Heights police when investigators say he fled from police after robbing 2 stores.
Guilty or not, he does not deserve to be shot in the back as he's running away.
Tonight, Sam George stood here too, in a much smaller cluster, as someone who she says supports the police.
If you lose somebody that you care about, then of course, you're going to grieve that, and you know, those people need empathy. They need people to show them empathy, and I'm not here to take away from their message, but my message is the same. If my kids call, I want someone to show up. If I call, I want them to show up.
Now, on that digital city council meeting we were listening to tonight, there were a lot of folks who were in support of police, but so many more, dozens at least, who want real reform. This was a meeting online that stretched for hours of public comment. In Cottonwood Heights tonight, I'm Nick McGurk, ABC4 News.
Time now for a first look at the weather forecast, and we managed to cool down just a teensy little bit today.
Just a little bit. Chief Meteorologist Alana Brophy in the Weather Center with the first look at the forecast. Alana.
That's progress, guys. We'll take it. We had that cool front move through, and it impacted northern Utah today. Also impacting, well, the entire state is that wildfire smoke. You can see it here from that hazy sunset from North Salt Lake. We've seen that smoke hanging around for the last 24 hours, and it's not going anywhere. It has impacted air quality. Thicker smoke in southern Utah Utah, as well as the eastern side of the state. We're pulling it from that California apple fire. It's moving up with our southerly winds, and tonight we do have increased particulate matter in a few northern Utah counties still. That includes Davis County, Tooele County, Duchesne County, and Carbon County. Now, we have seen improvement as we've headed into the overnight in other northern Utah locations, and down south we still have ozone issues in Washington County. But we know that smoke is out there. Our high temperatures today, a little closer to average in the mid-90s along the Wasatch Front. You can see where that front stalled out because behind it we saw those cooler conditions, but triple digits still to the south of it. Now, as we head into tomorrow, temperatures right now in the 70s and 80s, so still pleasant, but we do have an elevated fire risk for this portion of the state. And this is not the only area where fire concerns are going to peak. I'm going to show you why coming up in my full forecast in just a few moments. Glenn, Emily, over to you.
Thank you, Alana. At least 78 people are dead. That's the latest count, and thousands injured in the capital city of Lebanon tonight after a massive fire and explosion near the port in Beirut. Have you seen this video? Look at that. The director of the General Security Directorate says the blast seems to be the result of confiscated explosives detonating. The video just astounding, from people watching the plumes of smoke from a fire just as that explosion goes off, sending shock waves across the city. The explosion even registered as a 3.3 earthquake and was felt hundreds of miles away in Cyprus. Tonight, emergency rooms are flooded in Beirut as doctors and nurses tend to the many wounded people affected by this blast.
New developments in the alleged murder case of Idaho siblings J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan. A judge ruling late this afternoon that Chad Daybell's case will move forward to district court. Daybell faces a total of 4 felony counts related to the destruction, alteration, or concealment of J.J. and Tylee's bodies, who are the children of his new wife, Lori Vallow Daybell. Prosecutors spent the last 2 days convincing the judge that Daybell likely committed the crimes he's been accused of. Meanwhile, Daybell's defense attorney had the opportunity to cross-examine some of the witnesses.
Did you have a meeting with Mr. Wood prior to testifying today?
Yes.
Did he tell you what to say on the stand?
No.
Did he coach you in any way?
No.
Did he ask you to testify in a certain manner or wear a certain amount of clothes a certain way?
No.
All right, well, the judge ultimately ruled that there was enough probable cause for Daybell's case to move forward to district court. His arraignment is scheduled for August 21st. If Daybell pleads not guilty, the case will go before a jury.
Coming up, a veteran and sheriff's deputy shares his explosive experiences on the bomb squad in Utah County. That's tonight's Behind the Badge report.
Plus, there's that live look outside our beautiful capital in our capital city tonight, but we've got some wildfire smoke that's pretty persistent, impacting air, and the triple digits, they may not have gotten enough. I'll explain coming up in Utah's most accurate forecast.
Behind the Badge, brought to you by Big O Tires, the team you trust.
And welcome back. A Marine Corps veteran now spends his time keeping Utah County safe from criminals and explosives.
ABC4's Rick Aaron introduces us to him in tonight's Behind the Badge.
You might do a double take when you first see Utah County Sheriff's Deputy John Thomas. If he looks familiar, it's probably because his twin brother James was featured on Behind the Badge last October. The former womb mates have parallel but very different law enforcement careers. John, on the left, is a patrol deputy and a bomb squad technician for the Utah County Sheriff's Office. James, on the right, is a conservation officer for the Division of Wildlife Resources, and they're practically mirror images.
A lot of my coworkers would approach him and he'd be like, you know, what are you looking at me for? You know, do I owe you money? Why are you staring at me? If he's standing next side by side with me, you could tell us apart. I'm clearly a lot chubbier than he is, and it's always been that way. I have a nice round face and he's got a little skinny face.
John, a former canine handler, looks pretty good considering a police dog mauled him during a training exercise 7 years ago. He was on the ground in a bite suit when the canine lunged.
The dog just got a little feisty and went up and bit my face, kind of ripped a lot of my bottom lip off, and then some bite marks up on the cheek. But 2 surgeries later and I look brand new, so my face was in the wrong place at the wrong time type things.
6 months later, Deputy Thomas switched from dogs to detonations when he joined the bomb squad in 2014.
Any call you're going to is, you know, a little scary at some point. I think the biggest things that are the scariest, is doing like demolitions on like old fireworks, the fireworks that don't go off on some of these major stuff, and they bring it to us to have us demo them. Whenever they find like old dynamite out in the desert or something like that, we have to go and dispose of that. It's all pretty dangerous.
Despite the big booms, Deputy Thomas says his most memorable moments have been quietly helping out people in need, like one time when he saw a family being evicted from their house on the day before Thanksgiving.
When they were moving their stuff out, their children were coming out and grabbing bread from underneath the couch and starting to chew on it and stuff like that, just trying to find food and stuff like that. And here they are getting evicted, so me and a few of the other deputies that were there on scene tried to give them what we could, and like, here's some money, go get some food.
Whether it's hungry kids or wildlife, the Thomas twins are always looking for opportunities to serve and protect.
I guess it's just kind of how we were raised, always trying to help people, kind of the path we chose.
For the record, John claims he has a cooler job than James, as if you could compare bombs and bears. And they're not the only Officer Thomases in their family. Their older brother Dan is an officer with the Riverton Police Department. For Behind the Badge, Rick Aaron, ABC4 News.
To see more Behind the Badge stories or to nominate an officer for Rick to profile, just head over to our website, abc4.com/badge.
Time now for Utah's most accurate forecast. Weather rate certified 9 years in a row.
That was a great story, guys.
Wasn't it so good? Did you see the picture of him holding the little bears?
Yes,
yeah,
loved
okay.
it.
Adorable.
Speaking of bears, the weather's been a little unbearable.
I thought you were going to say more bearable.
I like that. I was going to go grizzly, but you know what? I'm okay with it. Yes, today a little more bearable because we were cooler in the north, but that wildfire smoke really taking over northern Utah skies and thicker down south. Our Healthy in Utah time-lapse video shows that you can't even see the Oakers as we have those southerly winds carrying that smoke from the south into the Beehive State, and it's pushing further and further north. So hazy sunshine out there today. We did have a few clouds, but really nothing too bad. As we look at our futurecast smoke model, it shows how that smoke is moving through the state and what it will continue to do. As we get through tomorrow, it pushes further north, and you see some thicker smoke along the Wasatch Front by early Thursday morning. Eastern Utah taps into it, but the southern portion of the state will get a little bit of a break as we get further along, which is good news there because they have the thicker stuff right now. It is impacting air quality, and where there's smoke, we've got to talk fire. That's why we've got a red flag warning in effect, going into effect at noon tomorrow for central and southern Utah. The Wasatch Mountains and the eastern side of the state will amp up when it comes to fire concerns Thursday. So this red flag stays in effect until Thursday night, but we will see portions of the state under this warning tomorrow afternoon. Why? The winds and the heat. So as we look at our temperatures right now, we're sitting in those 80s, really nice cooling off, but temperatures are a factor when it comes to fire danger. 94 in St. George still at this hour. Relative humidity is another factor. We've got very dry fire fuels out there. This number is expressed in a percent, and usually we rebound overnight. Nice to see that in the north. We don't get much of that in central and southern Utah. And of course, the winds. The southerly winds will make a return. Our highest wind gusts down there in Higgsville and Moab, some gusty conditions. These numbers bound to go up with that warning in place. As we look at the satellite, you can see that we did have a little bit of storm activity over the Flaming Gorge area and the Uinta Basin. That's an area that could see a high base thunderstorm as we head through tomorrow and into Thursday. But other than that, very clear throughout the rest of the state. As we watch our weather, we know those temperatures, while they were cool today in the north, we're going to jump back up with the help of those southerly winds. Now, the wind is prompting those watches and warnings that are going into effect tomorrow, and that red flag warning will start again at noon, and fire danger will stick around because we have that ridge of high pressure. We flattened it just a little. But as we head into tomorrow, we get the strong southwesterly flow, and the winds really are going to dictate what happens if we get a fire start. Futurecast shows us the clouds clearing out of the Uinta Basin. As we get through tonight, fairly clear skies, but we cloud up with the potential for another isolated storm over the high country for our Wednesday and even into Thursday. Look at those red lines. Those are the southerly winds. They become the main weather story as we get into Thursday. That includes windy conditions up north, so be ready for that. Tomorrow, 90s and 100 degrees. Yeah, the triple digits, they didn't get enough. They're coming back with the help of those southerly winds. 103 in St. George, the same number over in Moab, and 90s on the other side of the state. As we take a look at Washington County, you're going to see those triple digits hanging around. We cool ever so slightly to 100 on Friday, but gusty conditions and fire danger holds on. Here's a check on the Wasatch Front. Notice that triple digit day and we say thank you. We've had enough, and then we start to cool it down by Friday. Temperatures closer to normal, windy on Thursday with the upper 90s, and then we'll take what's supposed to happen this time of year, which is the low to mid 90s, and our favorite, right guys?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that crisp 92 on Friday.
Oh yeah, I know. Real cold snap these days.
Yep.
All right, thanks so much, Alana. Well, those hot temps, yeah, they're hot, but the Jazz are not looking so hot, right, Dana?
At least they hit triple digits in a loss last night. Jazz have not looked like the Jazz when it comes to three-point shooting. Plus, who needs a schedule? BYU opens training camp with more questions than answers. That's next in sports.
Time now for ABC4 News Sports with Dana Green.
BYU may not know who or when or even if they'll be playing this season, but they are practicing. The Cougars kicked off training camp today as they try to make their way through a dark cloud of uncertainty. It was a first day of camp like no other. Every BYU player and coach were wearing masks, but today was more about the excitement of just being back on the field.
It was fun to be back and start working together, and now that we're all together, we're just trying to stay cautious, but it's just good to just get practicing.
I think everybody just wants to get things quickly back to normal as possible, but understanding the situation, there's a little bit of frustration, but you know, it's getting hot out there and the guys have to have these masks on, but it's okay. It's the price that you pay to keep it a low risk environment so that we can keep practicing.
Whatever it takes, masks, no fans, whatever. The Cougars just want to be able to play.
That's the biggest thing, is to do all that we can so that there is a season, and do all that we can so we don't have to be quarantined for 2 weeks during the season if us or a position or a teammate were to contract the virus.
We've already been through very, very different things. I think by now we're able to adapt. We got our spring ball cut short. We were able to adapt to that. We found ways to get better. We have to wear masks, during practices, and we've just found a way to adapt. Playing without fans, I'm gonna miss that if they decide to have no fans or limit the fans, but we just adapt.
But who are they going to play? BYU's already had 6 games canceled because of the virus, and while they wait for Tom Holmoe to hopefully work his magic, they have to prepare as though a full season is ahead of them.
Yeah, I think the unknowns will be known soon. I mean, I'm hoping. I know we had a schedule and it changed. It's okay. We'll figure it out and my job is to get these guys ready to play 12 games, right? And regardless of who the opponent was going to be.
I mean, you're not going to progress or get any better just kind of moping around. So the biggest thing is just to hope for the best, say that there's a season, and hope that there's a great schedule ahead of us.
Here's hoping. Well, the Utah Jazz have not been the same three-point shooting team inside the NBA bubble that they were outside the bubble. The Jazz came in as the #1 three-point shooting team in the entire NBA. They were at over 38%. But through the first 3 games of the NBA restart, they're shooting just 25% from beyond the arc. That's a big difference and a big reason why they've lost 2 of 3, including last night to the Lakers. They're getting the shots they want. They just can't seem to knock them down. The solution? They say keep shooting.
I think it's just go down to taking them shots. I think the biggest thing for us is continue taking. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, So honestly, we got some good looks. We got what we wanted. Sometimes they just don't fall in. When that's the case, what we do on the defensive end has to turn up even more. And but we like the looks we got. Unfortunately, they all didn't go in.
Jazz take on Memphis tomorrow. And final round of the Utah Women's Open at Thanksgiving Point. The winner, Veronica Joels. She blistered the course for a 6-under 66. Nice birdie putt here on 12. Joels finished 5 under for the tournament. The UNLV golfer is the 2nd straight out-of-state golfer to win the tournament. And she was presented the trophy from our own Wesley Ruff. How about that? Veronica played on the boys team in high school in Nevada, won a state title, so she added to her trophy collection today, and she got to meet Wesley Ruff.
The Wesley Ruff.
Which one do you think she thinks is better?
Yeah, well, I'm going to go with the trophy.
Oh! Yeah, I agree.
6 of one, half dozen of the other, right?
We love you, Wesley Ruff. We'll be right back.
What do you think of mac and cheese for breakfast? Seems strange, but according to Kraft, most parents, 56%, are serving their kids mac and cheese instead of cereal or bacon and eggs. So Kraft decided to play along.
All right, I'm not sure about this. Well, they've created these limited edition boxes with the word breakfast instead of the usual dinner, and they're offering to donate 10 boxes of Kraft mac and cheese every time someone uses their hashtag on Twitter or Instagram. Alana, have you ever had mac and cheese for breakfast?
I mean, second dinner.
Yeah, I'm not having it. I don't like dinner foods in the morning.
I know, I can have it twice. After regular dinner, you have a second dinner. 100 tomorrow, 103 in St. George. Red flag warning. It's going to be hot. Windy, too.
Not having that either, Alana. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Have a good night.